What's up guys, Tommy with Studio Sins here. Hope you're having a great day. Got to admit, women are largely the reason why a lot of guys wear fragrance. Let's take a few moments to appreciate women. Welcome back guys, and welcome women. If women are watching, you are welcome to watch my channel as well. In fact, according to YouTube analytics, there is a small percentage of women that enjoy watching my channel, so I think that's kind of cool. You're welcome to today's video, and I feel like this is a fragrance that almost anyone can wear. It's an amazing scent. It's an amazing fragrance. One of the best fragrances that's come out in the last 5 years, really. It is by Givenchy. It is Givenchy Gentleman Réserve Privée. What I can say specifically about this fragrance before going into detail about it, if you're at all a fan of fragrances that feel like they're very light, but they have a very powerful, potent backbone. In other words, fragrances that seem like it's not even there when you spray it on you, but then later on, perhaps even hours later, you catch it on yourself and you're like, you know what, that's not weak at all. This is one of those stealth assassin fragrances that may not be significantly loud when you apply it, but then later on, the effects are amazing. That is Givenchy Gentleman Réserve Privée, and specifically in the department of boozy, sexy fragrances. This is a fragrance that many women, speaking of women, have really enjoyed on their partner, their men. What about the fragrance notes that make up Givenchy Gentleman Réserve Privée? Well, let's take a look at those notes that make up the fragrance, and we'll kind of pick them apart and discuss the fragrance a little bit more in depth and get into the performance. Givenchy Gentleman Réserve Privée features top notes of Scotch Whiskey Absolute and Italian Bergamot, with heart notes of chestnut, Italian Iris, Chinese Iris, and benzoin. Resting on a base of patchouli, Virginia cedar, and vetiver. Well, considering what's in the fragrance, it may not seem like it's going to stand out very much. You know, the only thing that might make you think it's going to be a good fragrance at all is the fact that it has Scotch Whiskey Absolute. So you know it's going to be boozy from that simple fact. Then it has some benzoin, which is like a sweet resinoid kind of fragrance note. But judging by just those two fragrance notes alone, along with the iris, you know it's going to be a little bit more iris specific. This whole line is a kind of an iris oriented, not the deep, dark, dank, heavy, kind of pungent, lipsticky makeup kind of iris, but the lighter side, more of the lightly floral kind of iris, which I much prefer. I do like the darker, heavier makeup iris, but I do prefer for the Gentleman line that more lighter side of the floral iris. Now, how does Gentleman Réserve Privée smell, and why do I call it a stealth assassin? The one thing about the drink alcohol, and that's pretty much anything from beer to whiskey to wine, if you drink too much of it, if you overindulge, it can actually start coming out of your pores and you could smell like a still. Have you ever had someone say, or you feel about yourself, you reek of alcohol? alcohol. Alcohol actually dissipates. What they're smelling, or what people are smelling on you, is the hops, the barley, the whatever is in the actual drink. Alcohol is just a word we use to describe the drink itself. So when I describe this fragrance as boozy, it does have a light tinge of an alcohol smell that dissipates over time, and what you're left with is this pungent, woody, whiskey, oaken barrel kind of smell and aroma, and it's extremely pleasant. That married to the multiple kinds of iris that's in the fragrance, a little bit of citrus bergamot, that's a perfect blending handshake from the open to the mid, and then you get the sweet resins in the base along with the dry vetiver that makes it such an elegant fragrance. The fact that it's associated with Scotch whiskey is more like a top shelf. It's even in the fragrance title. Reserve is specifically reserved for a set of specially made or specially blended alcohols that's set aside for a specific batch. Particular care was taken to make or craft the absolute best that can be possibly made. That's why Givenchy used the term Réserve Privée. It is the absolute best. It's the eponymous, perfect, boozy, sexy fragrance for not only for date night, but just for everyday casual wear. Now, I would say Réserve Privée is a perfect balance between casual and upscale. So it's kind of a midline. Kind of like a polo shirt and khakis for a guy represents semi-dressed up or semi-casual. In terms of when you would want to wear Réserve Privée, it's definitely a signature scent. It's almost like what you think of when you smell your favorite leather, you know, or when you put on your favorite leather jacket. There's so many things associated with what you do when you're wearing that jacket, you know, where it came from, the things that you experienced after you had it or have had it for a very long time. All of that is written into the code of that aroma. It's very much the same with Réserve Privée. The smell of it just sparks so many good, fond memories of, because everybody that is of legal age has had experience with alcohol and with drinking. A lot of it is social, a lot of it is romantic. You roll that up into this very fine ball of memories and associations, and you put it in a bottle, and Réserve Privée is the end result. In terms of performance, it is an extremely well-crafted fragrance. I get a good 7+ hours of this, and I'm not talking about a very light skin scent after 7 hours. I'm talking about pretty decent projection still there, especially if you put it on clothing. And I recommend that whenever you spray Réserve Privée on, you reserve a piece of your clothing that you want to have, like something, usually your collar is a great place, or right on the front lapel of your shirt, somewhere like that. It's not going to stain. In combination with your skin and your pulse points, at least a small area of clothing is a great way to make your fragrance last on, especially into the evening. The performance for me is key in how I rate a fragrance, and I rate this one really highly, not only for great aroma, but for great performance. Again, 7+ hours for me. Nighttime is a great time to wear this fragrance, but it also shines during the day, and that's why I say it has all the earmarks of a signature scent. I own the entire Givenchy Gentleman line, with the exception of Society, and I hope to have that relatively soon. I'll give you guys my first impressions of that as soon as possible, and I have to say this is among my top 3 that I really enjoy in the line. So if you are a fan at all, or even slightly interested in boozy fragrances, this would also be a fantastic starter fragrance for a boozy signature scent. So something to keep in mind. Well guys, that's pretty much a wrap on my thoughts of Givenchy Gentleman Réserve Privée. I know I just went over it relatively briefly, but I kind of wanted to encapsulate this review in a relatively quick and easy to digest format, so that if you've had any thoughts of pulling the trigger on this particular fragrance, this might be the tipping point to get you there. I guarantee you will not regret it. It is very highly regarded. You can go to any website, whether it's Fragrantica to Parfumo.net to Base Notes, and they will all say the same thing. It's a great fragrance, so definitely pull the trigger if you're thinking about getting it, or try a sample. Samples are still available. It's still relatively new, but I don't think you would regret going all in on a full bottle. If you own it already, let me know what your thoughts of the fragrance are. I really like to hear what your favorite aspects of this wonderful boozy fragrance is in the comments below. Thanks so much for stopping by to check out today's video, and for you women watching, thank you so much for your time too. Please continue to watch. I hope this is informative for you and kind of informs your thoughts of men's fragrance a bit. As always, I truly appreciate your continued support on my channel. We're growing rapidly every day, and that's all thanks to you guys. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll see you tomorrow.